What is going on there, everyone? Sorry for the weird angle. I'm putting up acoustic panels on the wall, and I ran out. Yeah, I didn't order as many as I needed, so yeah, it'll be a funny angle till roughly Wednesday. I should be done with the walls and the ceiling and everything, so it'll be back to normal soon. But speaking of things that need to go back to normal, what is going on with Nancy Pelosi's brain? Is there even a brain in there? I mean, good lord, I don't know if it's these Democrats are just becoming too old to be able to govern properly or what, but man, they're sending us down the wrong path for sure. Let's get into this from Breitbart. Nancy Pelosi to introduce resolution implying preemptive surrender to Iran. Not only that, she's. Let's just get into the story because this is complete lunacy. I mean, complete. And to most of us on the right, this should not come as a shock to anybody. And people on the left, y'all need to rein in y'all's leaders, apparently, because they're out of their minds. They're actually losing touch with reality fully, as if they haven't already been showing signs of that. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi wrote a letter to her Democratic colleagues in the House on Sunday to reveal a new war powers resolution that amounts to a preemptive surrender to Iran in ongoing hostilities. Oh, it does one further. It's laughable. Pelosi's letter begins with the declaration that the President Donald Trump's airstrike last week targeting Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, leader of the terrorist Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds forces, responsible for the murder of hundreds of Americans and for recent attacks on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, was provocative and disproportionate. Really? Really, Nancy? Tell that to the 600 plus men who've lost their lives, men and women that have lost their lives. Tell that to the countless others who have lost their limbs due to this man. Yeah, tell it to them. I think they would disagree pretty wholeheartedly with you. Terms suggesting the attack was illegal under international law and could constitute a war crime. Wasn't there another president that did things that constituted as war crimes, even under our Constitution? Let me just check something real quick. Over here to a Vox article. Oh, the Obama administration killed 2,436 people in 473 counterterrorism strikes in Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, and Libya between January 2009 and the end of 2015. Of those, between 64 and 116 were non-combatants. That is, civilians. And these are all places we're not even at war at. Or with, you know. We're not at war with Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, or Libya. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Oh, what was that? Even more chilling from a constitutional perspective is that the Obama administration has, with little to no complaint from the American people or the other two branches of government, deliberately targeted and killed U.S. citizens in drone strikes without those individuals ever have been given their constitutional right to due process of law. Kind of makes you really think for a second, you know? What are these Democrats really doing? Do they at all have our best in their minds? I don't think they do. This is freaky, you know? This is pretty freaky. This is something I've never seen. I don't think any of y'all have ever seen it because we've never seen such a dysfunctional government here. Somehow it actually is functioning still. Somehow. But in reality, this is the most dysfunctional government we've ever seen. But let's get back to the story. Harvard Law School professor, whoa, emeritus. I don't know. That's some college stuff. And Democrat Alan Dershowitz argued in Monday's Wall Street Journal that the strike was not only lawful, but an easy call. The president has the constitutional authority to take military actions short of declaring war, which he did not. Actually, he explicitly stated that he does not want war. And then an Iranian official came out, this is all after the strike on Soleimani, and said they don't want war. They want to do a reciprocal something, but they don't want full-fledged war, which is always a positive thing to hear. The president has the constitutional authority to take military action short of declaring war that he and his advisors deem necessary to protect American citizens. This authority is extremely broad, especially when the actions must, by their nature, be kept secret from the intended target. Yes, and like I keep saying, and like I've said in the past two or three videos that I've made, the presidential powers and executive powers, thanks to Bush starting it and Obama continuing it, yeah, they are very broad when it comes to these type of things, when it comes to national security. Those two presidents, the two last presidents, put a lot of things. They made the gray area so much grayer when it comes to presidential powers like these. And it's scary. It's startling. Especially what Obama was doing. He literally targeted two, for sure, possibly a third American over there in Yemen. It was two in Yemen and one somewhere else over there in the Mideast. I don't remember if it was Libya or something. But yeah, those were American citizens. No one said a word. No one said a word. Nonetheless, Pelosi's letter indicates that the House will declare the president's actions illegal under international law. The letter further claims that Trump's actions endangered our service members, diplomats, and others by risking a serious escalation of tension with Iran. Actually, he was protecting them. That was the main purpose of taking Soleimani out, was to protect them from the guy who's organizing all the anti-American sentiments and attacks that are going on over there. Stupid. Democrats have lost their shit. The letter goes on to describe the new resolution that would limit the president's military powers actions regarding Iran, essentially signaling a surrender in the potential conflict before the Iranian regime itself had managed to respond. Pelosi adds that in the resolution reasserts Congress's long-established oversight responsibilities by mandating that no further congressional action is taken. The administration's military hostilities with regard to Iran cease within 30 days. Under current law, the War Powers Act of 1973 limits the time that a president can lead a military effort without formal authorization to 60 days following a required presidential report to Congress when hostilities begin. This seems like it was a standalone thing. This wasn't part of a bigger assault on Iran or our Iranian people. It was to knock this one guy out. It sent a message. This guy is a known terrorist. He's been on the terrorist watch. Some people are saying since 2009. I've read reports that he was on there since 2005. So, I don't know. In between 2005 2009, this guy was designated as a terrorist. When we got into that ridiculous Iranian nuclear deal, yeah, that put a halt to anything we could do with these people in Iran. It pretty much put a blanket of protection over them. Well, when we pulled out, that blanket of protection was lifted, and we could treat these people as terrorists, like they are. So, we did that. And everyone's freaking out that Iran just said they pulled out of the nuclear deal. Who cares? We were already out of it. We've been out of it, so they had no actual obligation to it at that point. And do you really trust that they were, not doing anything? Come on. There was already Israeli intelligence saying they were already working on new centrifuges and stuff. So the nuclear deal wasn't doing anything. It was a typical piece of paper that made people feel good, that didn't actually, amount to anything. The new resolution, which Pelosi says mirrors a similar Senate bill by Senator Tim Kaine, he's from my state, would amount to an effective surrender by signaling that the president had no congressional support for striking back against Iran and imposing a new deadline for any military action that would give Iran greater freedom of action. Paradoxically, the resolution would force the president to choose more drastic measures of conducting a war effort before the deadline. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The only way you can do anything is if you just straight up declare war. We don't want to go to war. Trump has made it explicit that he does not want to go to war. I really hope that he feels that way because, man, I'm not a big war-friendly guy. I don't like it anymore. I mean, it used to serve a purpose. It really doesn't serve the same purpose anymore. I've had too many good friends go over there and come back really jacked up in the mind, so it's just no good. No bueno. By declaring the attack provocative and disproportionate, the resolution also invites international prosecution of the president, as well as members of the administration and the military itself, who carries out his orders. The U.S. does not recognize the authority of the International Criminal Court, ICC, to prosecute Americans for war crimes. No, it doesn't, because I believe the ICC, fact check me on this, but I believe the ICC actually had Obama up for war crimes, and because America doesn't give a crap about the International Criminal Court, yeah, nothing ever happened there. But I do believe he was formally brought up on charges by them, just nothing ever happened because we don't care, pretty much. But the ICC takes a different view, and the future Democratic administration might well side with the ICC instead. Pelosi's letter indicates that the new war powers resolution will be introduced and voted on this week. She has not yet indicated when she will transfer the articles of impeachment passed by the House on December 18th to the Senate, which she claims is necessary prerequisite to the Senate holding a trial on the president's removal from office, which it's not. It's completely ridiculous. She actually has no constitutional authority or power to hold those articles of impeachment, because I mean the whole impeachment is bunk and nonsense. It's just nothing. She's showing how much of a nonsensical situation it was just by holding these articles after screaming from the rooftops how big of a threat this president is to our nation. Yet he's not as big of a threat to have him actually removed or anything like that. In a quick in timely manner. No. Because this is all nonsense. Everything these stupid Democrats in the House are doing is nonsense. This resolution that they're doing about Iran is complete nonsense. I mean, do you need any clear evidence that the Democrats are only here to obstruct at this point? They don't have our best interest in mind, and at all. I mean, come on. They're siding with Iran. They're literally siding with Iran. Do you need any more evidence? These people, Nancy Pelosi, this whole picture right here, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and beautiful old Bernie Sanders, they don't have America's best interest in mind. They don't have your best interest in mind. No, they could care less. They could care less. All they care about is their power that they wield upon all of us. Yep, they dictate. That's what they want to do. They want to dictate our lives. They don't want they just don't want anyone else to have any say in anything. They're authoritarian dictators, man. They're disgusting. We sit there, we take out one of the top terrorists in the world, who is just responsible for so much sorrow, pain, and misery of Americans and Iraqis, Iranians. This guy, he terrorized everyone. I mean, this guy was not a good guy, but yet they want to side with him. They want to side with him. That's what this is saying to me. They rather side with Iran and an Iranian terrorist than a president who took him out. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic and disgusting, and I'm ashamed of these people being in our government. But I'd love to hear your comments on this, whether you're pretty much as outraged as I am or whether you think what they're doing is the right thing. I'd love to hear it. Love to hear it. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch y'all on the flip side.